Alrighty guys, this is part 1 of 2 parts of the Romania Pro experience, and I want to welcome you to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And now you're watching the preparations for actually going to Romania. This is still the Netherlands, our apartment, packing the suitcases, the finalizations of the suitcases in the morning before leaving. As you saw, it was October 30th, and now we're leaving actually to the airport. Tijd voor de laatste maaltijd. Ik bedoel, eerste maaltijd van de dag. Alright, so here I'm actually making the first meal of the day. It's going to be the regular oatmeal. I keep this day a low day because I'm flying, so the only meal with carbohydrates is the first meal. Just 70 grams of oatmeal with some liquid egg white, some GLADIATOR Pro protein, cinnamon, and that's basically it. A little bit of peanut butter, and then I actually ate that. Still fasted right here. I ate that on the train to the airport, and here we are waiting very close to our apartment on the bus that takes us to the train station, and the train will take us to the airport in Amsterdam called Schiphol, a pretty big airport, and this is the airport right here. We are waiting for my parents to arrive to actually get to the departure zone to actually depart from the Netherlands towards Romania. And we're ready with all the Vintage Genetics bags, a lot of suitcases packed. And actually this blue suitcase you can see right here, especially for my food. I already packed all my fish, my frozen fish, to take with me to Romania, which is awesome. Right guys, we're here at the airport, and of course my bag is right there, because every time that you take food with you, then they have to check it to see what it is, because on the scanner it always looks weird. So they have to check it, so that's what we're waiting for. That's what it takes so long at the airport. And my dad has the same issue, of course. Bodybuilders are never trusted here. So after getting those bags checked and confirmed there's nothing harmful in there, no explosives and no anything like that, we are walking towards the airport, waiting until we can actually board the plane right here. Of course, we're all wearing our Team Vintage Genetics hoodies, which is really awesome to have such an amazing family supporting me, actually going with me to the country. Dan zitten we dan in het vliegtuig. And actually sometimes I'm speaking Dutch because I'm also recording things for a later documentary which will be out in probably a few months. So that's going to be awesome as well, but I'll tell you guys more about that. But here I'm in the plane and I'm about to eat a meal right here. Also drinking a lot of water. So in the 2 weeks leading up to this show, I drank probably like 7, 8 to 9 liters every single day of pure water. And especially when you're flying, a lot of people have, you know, things like water retention around the ankles because of the air pressure difference. So I'm drinking a lot of water, but at this time I'm keeping a little bit of salt in, because that to me is simply what I need to keep the fullness in my muscle and not lose too much water weight. That's very important as well. So you don't want to flush out your body too much. So here I'm just eating my 300 grams of white fish that I already prepared with some vegetables, the spinach, the cucumber, the celery, and the avocado with a little bit of salt and pepper just to make it delicious. And here we are flying upwards towards Romania. This is still the Netherlands, as you can see, a nice and flat country. As you guys may know, I live in the Netherlands, and the flight was around 3 hours of flying. This is quite beautiful, by the way, every time we're flying, to be above the clouds, very special. And now we already are in Romania. It's still very flat, still not a lot of houses you can see, but we are actually going to Bucharest, which is the capital city of Romania, and trust me, Bucharest is a lot busier than Romania looks like right now. But you will see that in probably this video and the next video as well, that it's a very busy city. But here we are, arrived in Bucharest in Romania already, and now we're just getting ready to get our luggage and to actually get to our apartment, which I really want to get to because, you know, I want to get settled in and prepare myself for the show.
Ready?
And just again, to have my family, the support, having them around me is just amazing. So the people who went with me are actually my girlfriend, who is filming a lot of stuff, my parents, my mom filmed a lot of stuff as well, and my girlfriend's parents. So we were with 6 people in total, and you know, a lot of people, a lot of competitors that I met backstage were there alone, maybe with a coach. So my coach also went, but he was already there a few days beforehand. But it's just amazing to have such support around you. Alright guys, we just did the groceries, as you can see. We loaded the car up with the groceries for the next couple of days. Just some vegetables. I actually prepared all the fish already at home. So we got the vegetables here, an extra pan, a lot of water to get prepared for the next couple of days here in Romania. And after doing the groceries and getting settled into the apartment, we are actually going to work out for the first time in Romania here at Sport Club San Gym. They were very kind to let us work out and film and everything for free. Even, you know, when we walked in, we saw that they actually were playing the 2009 Mr. Olympia on the TV screen, and that always is a good sign. That means that the gym is open-minded. They don't despise bodybuilding. So I was, you know, every time that I am over in another country for a contest, you gotta check your shape in the gym. Not every single gym allows you to actually, you know, get down into your underwear and check your shape in the middle of the gym. So it was quite difficult to actually find a decent gym close to where I live, where we lived for a few days in the apartment, because Bucharest is, you know, really difficult to actually avoid all of the traffic, because 2.6 million people live there. And, you know, to compare it to the entire of the Netherlands, 17 million people live there. So in the capital city alone, that's quite a lot of people, quite a lot of cars. And the infrastructure isn't that great. So to be able to get to places, it takes a long while. And you don't want to waste a lot of time. So this was the gym that was the closest. That was actually serious about bodybuilding as well. So what I'm doing right here is just a full upper body workout. I did chest 2 days before at 100% Fit Gym here in the Netherlands. But when I'm in Romania, I wanted to do, of course, some different body parts first. First, do the entire back, but I want to train the entire upper body, because this really is not a workout to build muscle at all. Because you have to imagine, right now I'm very depleted, very low carb. There's not a lot of fat on my body, and the immune system is probably compromised, so you don't want to stretch out your body too much. Just get some blood pumping in each and every upper body part, and then check out the shape along with the coach, who will be joining me very soon, to actually see where we stand a few days out from the contest. So what I'm doing, I'm filling up the entire back. The back is a big muscle group, so I started with that, filling it from a lot of different angles. So doing a few pull downs, doing a few rows, doing actually the rear delt exercises, and then along the way checking the shape to see if the pump is actually getting there. And it's a little more difficult to get a pump when you're very low carb, of course. But I was already starting to carb up this day, but I only had 2 full meals with a few carbs in there. But as you can see, after doing a couple of exercises and getting nice and warm, the veins start to pop, the fullness is coming. But you know, my weight limit is 112 kilograms, and I only weighed around 109, not even, this morning of this day that you see right here. So I was 3 kilos under the weight limit because I was very depleted, not a lot of glycogen in the muscles. So that's, I knew I still had to weigh in, so I couldn't really load up to the brim, and that wasn't the plan at all, by the way. I really went for the conditioning this time, which you will see on the second part of the video when I'm actually on stage. And here you can already see as well that the conditioning is there. And this time I didn't care about the weight, I didn't care about the fullness, because I realized that when you're very conditioned, then you will actually look bigger on stage as well. But because I'm a tall bodybuilder, because I stand for the golden era of bodybuilding, of course, the first few contests, I did go for more fullness compared to conditioning, because, of course, when you're inexperienced, you are always afraid that you will not show up to your full potential on stage, and that's what you're afraid of. You think if you go too down, too low with the carbs, deplete yourself too much, that you will actually, you know, neglect what your body can actually achieve in terms of fullness, in terms of roundness, in terms of veins popping out. But in all honesty, when you're under the lights of the stage, every single extra line that you can show because of conditioning will make you look that much bigger, that much better. And that is what we learned a lot from the last few contests where I didn't place as high as I wanted to, that we really want to go for conditioning, and I simply have to build the muscle, pure muscle mass, to compare with the rest of the guys. Because if I have to go with fullness because of the carbs, then I simply don't have enough muscle mass there to compare to the others if I'm not full enough by sheer muscle mass. So that's what we're going for. Here I'm actually checking the shape. This is my coach right here, Ferdi. Actually, his real name is Ferdi, which is the way you say it in Dutch or Belgium. He's actually a Belgian man living in Belgium, close to the Netherlands. But here we are checking the shape. Obviously the lighting isn't perfect, but here you can get an idea of what you look like in each of the poses to see what we need to do, how much we need to load up the carbs, how much more we would need to do with water and sodium. And in all honesty, we didn't change water or sodium at all. We kept all of that the same, drinking a lot of water and keeping sodium in the same amount of meals I've had in the weeks prior to the show. Not changing that has been one of the biggest improvements I've made compared to the previous shows, because we always thought, well, changing the water and playing around with the sodium can actually make your peak look that much better. But in all honesty, when you're very conditioned beforehand, you don't need to play around with the water and sodium at all. If you keep it the same and you look great 2 weeks out, why change it? And that is something very easily said, and a lot of bodybuilders who compete actively know exactly what I'm talking about. You always think that on show day you have to do something special to look better, but in all honesty, you don't need to do that if you already look good 2 weeks out. If you don't look good 2 weeks out, or even 1 week out, then you're not ready. You're not ready yet. You don't have a low enough body fat percentage yet. And if you don't have that, you can do whatever you want. You will not get those striations in the glutes, in the quads, in the hamstrings, in the upper body that you need to compare with the elite guys that might show up. And the list of people was already available to me who was going to join the Romania Pro Classic Physique as well, but I did not check any of them. I saw the names, I didn't really recognize much of who actually joined, but I did see that a lot of different countries were, so that was exciting to me by itself. Right guys, you just saw, we just finished the training. Just of course had my Gladiator Pro whey isolate, formulated by myself, to recover from this last workout that we did, just to fill up the muscles with blood. And tomorrow we're not going to work out. Today is 300 grams of carbs to fill up the physique just a little more, because I weighed quite little this morning. So tomorrow hopefully we weigh a little bit more, but not too much, for the weigh-ins, which will be in the afternoon around 5 o'clock I think. And tomorrow we'll be eating 400 grams of carbs according to the plan, if everything goes like that. And then the day after that, 600 grams. So the physique is looking quite nice, better than it ever has. And just gonna go for it. So now we're driving back home. Gonna have my post-workout meal with some beautiful rice, of course. Plenty of salt to recover and to fill up the muscles efficiently. And yes, that was a workout. Just warmed up some muscles, the entire upper body. And let's enjoy the rest of the day. Alright guys, what I'm going to do now is make the food. So I'm actually going to use some vegetables, some easy to digest vegetables, and also some water expelling vegetables. So I'll actually choose for cucumber. For the fats we have some avocado, about 40 grams. And we have asparagus. This is what actually expels a little bit of water and it's very healthy for you as well. All green vegetables. This is the protein I'm going to use. I vacuum sealed a lot of my fish. I took it with me here. I've got about 15 of these fillets of about 300 grams. And then for the carbs, we're going to use some rice. My favorite one, the Uncle Ben's rice, 120 grams uncooked, because I like to still have the biggest carbohydrate meal after the training. So after this, I'll have 2 more meals of low carb, and then the meal before bed, we'll have some sweet potatoes. So that's what we're going to do, and that's what's going to be the meal. And of course, we will also add enough salt right here. We've got some black pepper, and we've got some other spices, some provincial spices actually, just some spices and herbs to spice it up literally. And we've got some ginger, which I will be grating over the plate after it's finished and stir it up. Very good if you eat a lot of protein and you're bloating from the protein. Taking ginger will actually prevent the bloating, or actually, make it less severe. So that's what I'm going to do now, and you will see the end result right after this.
Okay.
Alright guys, this is the meal after the workout. The 120 grams of Uncle Ben's rice uncooked, so the cooked amount is like 360 times 3. Is what the cooked amount is compared to the uncooked. We've got 300 grams of pollock fish, very delicious, made with a sous vide machine. Took it out of the vacuum bag, fried it up real short, and it's perfect. We've got some spinach, asparagus, and some cucumber, and some ginger, salt and pepper. Just beautiful. Let's enjoy this, and after this, have 3 more meals.
62 and 60 switch places.
Alright guys, next time on Vintage Genetics, the Romania Pro 2019, you will actually see the stage footage of me on stage with a lot of different camera angles. This is just one of them, and it's just been an amazing experience, and I want to share it with you in a dedicated video right after this one. I will do my best to upload it as fast as possible. I've got an enormous amount of footage, so I will show you that, how it's like backstage, how the weigh-in is, how that goes, how the registration goes a few days before, how I do it with the loading, how I warm myself up, stuff like that. So you will see all that, and of course, as you can see here, the posing, the individual posing routine, and the people who I battled against. So see you next time.